ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायामीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ वर्स नंबर 2 शब्दस्पर्शौ रूपरसौ गन्धो भूतगुणा इमे एकदि चतुः पञ्च गुणा व्योमादिषु क्रमात्. So in the first section of a Chandogya Upanishad, of the 6th chapter of the Chandogya Upanishad, this Guru and Shishya are introduced. Guru is Uddalaka and Shvetaketu is a Shishya. They are father and son actually. And then in the second section of that 6th chapter, very important statement was given by Uddalaka, and that is Sadeva Somedamagra Asit Ekameva Dvitiyam. It's based on a question actually. Uddalaka asked to Shvetaketu because he was very brilliant, and so Uddalaka asked a question to Shvetaketu that did you ask for he came from the Gurukulam. So then Uddalaka just wanted to test him. So he said, did you ask to your teacher about knowledge by knowing which everything will be known? It is the same question like in our Mundaka Upanishad. Kasminnu bhagavo vignate sarvamidam vignatam bhavati. By knowing one thing, what is that one thing? By knowing which everything will be known. It is a cause, material cause basically. But anyway, so here also the same thing, that Uddalaka asked this kind of a question, but then he said sorry. Shvetaketu said, I don't think my teacher taught me. And then he goes further and he says, I think my teacher also may not be knowing about it. That is the height of the thing. He said on behalf of, because basically, I was a very brilliant student, and if definitely teacher would be, if he was knowing, he would definitely teach me. But since he did not teach me, I believe that he was also not knowing, etc. Anyway, but so then our Uddalaka introduced that there is such a thing called Brahman or Sat, which is the Jagad Adhishtanam, which is a cause of the entire universe, which pervades the entire universe, which is all pervasive, which is Brahman, and knowing that Sat or Brahman, everything is as well known. So Sadeva Somedamagra Asit Ekameva Dvitiyam. And this one Vakya, just this one Vakya, Vidyaranya is going to analyze here from Shloka, the verse number 2 to verse number 46. And Upanishad says, before creation, the Sat alone was there. Nothing was available, including space and time. Therefore, objects were also certainly not available, because obviously, if space itself is not there, how can objects will be there? Objects can exist only in a space. So a space should be there. And so, when it is said here, nothing was there before the creation, including space-time. And therefore definitely objects also could not be there. And then, and there is an example also, to understand a situation before the creation. You can understand, well, in a deep sleep state also, that there is only an existence. You are in the form of existence. How can you say, Swamiji, you were once upon a time, you were telling the consciousness also is there. That's correct. But basically if you are a conscious being, then you respond in terms of hearing, smelling, touching, talking, thinking. Nothing is there. But you are existent. Everybody knows in your family, and you also know. How? But Swamiji, during sleep, I don't know that I exist. Yeah. But before sleep, definitely you had that idea that you are going to exist. Otherwise, you won't go to sleep. By going into sleep, suppose you become non-existent, then definitely you won't go to sleep. Somehow you will remain awake. So that only in form of existence is there, because consciousness, you are a conscious being. Your consciousness gets inferred by me by your activity of the sense organs and organ of action or mind, some kind of an activity. Shrotrasya shrotram, manaso manaha. So, well, this kind of activity is there, then I can tell, yeah, he is a conscious being. But no activity during deep sleep. So, you are a conscious being is difficult to understand. But you are existent. That everybody knows in the family. If you are not, if they also feel that you are non-existent, is what will? Hell will come out, Everybody will start crying that you became non-existent or what. So you also know that you are existent. Before going to sleep, you are going to be existent. And everybody in the family also knows. So this is a universal truth that in a deep sleep state, you exist as just existence. That's for sure. And that is why Dakshinamurti Stotra, I told you yesterday, Sanmatra Karana Upasamharanatah Yobhut Sushuptah Puman. Shankaracharya says Sushuptah Puman. This person who is in the deep sleep state, Sanmatra, is just in the form of Sanmatra means Sat Matra. Actually it is because of the Sandhi that Ta becomes Na. So Sat Matra, you are just in the form of a Sat. You are in the form of a just pure existence. So this is your, this is your own experience. So exactly in a deep sleep state, it is a condition exactly like the condition of a condition before the creation. Well, in a deep sleep state, no time, no space, no objects. Well, before creation also, no time, no object, no space. Well, and still you are there in the form of just existence. Same way before creation also. Well, you are there in the form of, or let's say you are, let's not talk about that, you are in the form of pure existence. We are going to establish it, but there was a Sat which is just in the form of pure existence before the creation. So Sat eva asit, before the creation, idam jagat, this whole entire creation was just Sat alone, existence alone. And then what happens? Well, creation starts. So Upanishad says Akasha came first, naturally. Akasha has to come first because everything else has to exist in a space, and therefore space has to come first, and therefore Akasha came first. And with Akasha, one attribute also has come along with, and that is Shabda. What is that Shabda? What is that sound? We are going to see later. Then Vayu came, and then so Vayu along with the two gunas, Shabda and Sparsha. Following that came Agni with the three gunas, Shabda, Sparsha and Rupa. Then Jala with four gunas, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa and Rasa. And then Prithvi came, Earth. Well, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa and Gandha. And you have to consider, when I say that, you have to consider both. Gross, subtle, both you have to consider together, because, well, whole process of creation is not necessary for us. We have already done it. First Sukshma Bhuta came and then Panchikaranam, fivefold grossification and all that. That is not necessary here. But from Brahman, that Sat, well, this whole creation came. Of course, Chandogya did not talk about five elements. I am taking it as a five elements because this has been resolved in a Brahma Sutra. Well, that whether Upanishad talks about three gunas like Chandogya, or Taittiriya talks about five Mahabhutas, five gunas, five Mahabhutas, five elements, three elements or five elements, whatever. Because ultimately we have to understand five elements are come, even if they have talked about 3 elements. Vyasacharya ji has made a special adhikaranam to resolve this issue. Anyway, so this all the elements have come. All the elements have come means what? Basically, with everything existence is associated. That is what it is. So Akasha, now you say Akasha is, right? Vayu is. So that isness is basically borrowed from what? From Sat. Because Sat was there. So Sat has landed existence freely. Whatever has come out from Sat, well, so everything which has come out from the Sat has borrowed the existence from the Sat. So you understand, all the 5 elements are now associated with the existence. All the 5 elements are pervaded by this Brahman, or which is called Sat. Anyway, so isness is borrowed from that Sat, and Akasha has got Shabda Guna also, which is its own property. And so that Guna also has borrowed existence, right? Well, you say Akasha has sound. So sound is, well, and therefore Akasha, the substantive, and the attribute Shabda, both have borrowed the existence from the Sat. But then Swamiji, this is not able to, we are not able to understand. What are you saying all this? Basically, so we have, see, this Sat cannot give rise to Akasha and Guna and everything. So that Maya factor is there. So we have to add one factor which cannot really bring any change actually. That is how it is. This is how it is. Because when you say Akasha means a name and a form, this form, a sound, name and a form. When name and form comes, means it is addition, eva addition, as the addition. How can you say that? How can you say? Well, that is how it is. You take 100 gram gold and you make so many things, ring and bangle and this and that. Well, and ultimately you weigh everything. I hope so. That it is 100 gram only, right? Except even goldsmith does some kind of a miracle. Then that is a different thing. Otherwise it remains 100 gram. 100 gram gold plus all names and forms called jewelry is equal to 100 gram gold. That is how it is. So addition, eva addition, that is Maya. That's all. So through Maya, of course, the Sat appeared in all the forms. We are going to see in detail, don't worry. Here again Maya is going to come after few verses. Again it is going to come. We won't be able to see that the way we did before, but then we'll see at that time. Few verses are there on Maya. So anyway, but what I am saying is, in order to relieve you from the confusion, how Sat can give Akasha substantive and its attribute, and then again you will say Vayu and then 2 attributes. How? One thing is there and then how it becomes many. This is how it is. One piece of gold core of 100 gram becomes many. And it cannot become many. Ultimately it is all gold only. We are going to see. Anyway, so basically these names and forms they cannot add anything. 100 gram gold plus bangle. 100 gram gold plus chain. Only one thing. Chain of 100 gram gold. So then it is 100 gram gold only. The chain, name and form has not added anything. Addition, eva addition. Eva means as though. Anyway, so all this, Akasha has an attribute, and that Shabda Guna, etc. Well, that is, so the very existence of it is Brahman. So you can understand now anything, right? So Akasha, name and form is Maya, basically. And the existence of the very name and form is Brahman. Shabda is basically Maya, name and form. The very existence of name and form, well, sound, that Shabda, is Brahman. And that way, well, ultimately this Brahman alone through Maya, or the Sat alone through Maya appears, right? Gold alone appears in the form of just appearance, because it cannot add anything. And therefore it is appearance. What cannot add anything is appearance. That is how it is. And therefore we call it as a mithya. Anyway, so this is how the first thing, Akasha and its guna has come. Then, Vayu and two gunas, etc., etc. All the Panchamahabhutas, all the Panchamahabhutas have their existence borrowed from Brahman. And very existence means we can understand. If you just withdraw existence, what will remain? Nothing remains. If you withdraw the gold from the chain, what remains? Nothing remains. That is how it is. That is how we say the whole creation is just several names and forms are there. Thousands and billions and trillions. But they are just all appearance of the same Sat. Anyway. So, and then, of course, elements are over. Now then came the Panchabhautikas. We have to say that. Panchabhautikas means all the elementals, all varieties of names and forms born of these 5 elements. So 14 lokas and even Shukshma Sharira and Sthula Sharira, all this, right? It is all Bhautikam. Sukshma Sharira made up of subtle elements and Sthula Sharira made up of some gross elements. But it is Bhautikam. Bhautikam is which is born of Bhutas. So all this also have a same borrowed entity from Brahman, that is existence. So universe with this Panchabhutas and Bhautikas, that is called Prapancha. So Pancha. Everything is Pancha. Prakushta Pancha, Prapancha. They call like that. Prapancha means the creation. And it is called Prapancha because everything 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. Right? Everything is 5, 5, 5, 5. So that is how. So all elementals are basically, all names and forms are born of 5 elements. Mixed. But how then if all are born of 5 elements, why there is a difference at all? Because of the mixture. Yeah, proportion of the 5 elements is different. Well, sometimes even our, all the ladies, they make sometime same ingredient they use, but the proportion they change here and there little bit, and you find several varieties of the items. We find it's a new item, but we are being made full by them actually, and therefore that is how it is. People fight for puri and chapati. Why should you fight? It is ultimately one thing alone, that is wheat. Anyway, Maya's, the effect of Maya continues in our Vyavahara so much. Anyway, so universe with this Panchabhuta and this Bhautika, Prapancha, well, that is this Idam Jagat. Take that mantra. Sadeva Somya Idamagra Asit Ekameva Dvitiyam. In that Idam means this. This means this Prapancha, this world. That world, do you think existed before? It was existent before. Well, and for such a question, if that did this creation exist before, well, we will say, you inquire with the example you have, all ornaments existed before they were produced by the goldsmith, and same way so all that earthenware were existent before it got, all they were made by pot maker or so. Well, everything was existent. Whatever you are seeing, entire prapancha, well, it was existent before. So entire universe also existed before in the form of Sat, and from Sat Brahman alone this entire universe came, just as the clay is the cause of all earthenware. All earthenware existed before in the form of clay. All the jewelry or the ornaments were existent before in the form of gold. Same way all these names and forms, entire prapancha, well, was existent in the form of Sat. Well, if you just withdraw the gold, then the entire ornament world becomes zero. Same way, if you take out the existence from this all names and forms, what will remain? Nothing remains. And therefore, entire this prapancha was existent in the form of Sat before the creation. And so that then what do you want to derive from it? Well, it is cause. That's the cause. Just as the gold is the cause of the entire all the ornaments, all clay is the cause of entire earthenware. Same way, Sat is the cause, Brahman is the cause for the entire Jagat. And then what should we derive from that? Means it pervades. Just as gold pervades the all ornaments, clay pervades all earthenware, Sat pervades entire creation. And therefore, Sat pervades entire creation in form of, that is, existence, then definitely Sat is called Brahman, which is all pervasive, is Brahman. So this is how this is going to be established. And therefore, by knowing Sat, everything will be known. Right? So, well, did you ask for that knowledge? Shwetaketu, did you ask for that knowledge by knowing which everything will be known? Well, I did not ask, or he did not, teacher did not know, whatever it is. But ultimately, he is introducing this Jagat Karanam Sat or Brahman from this statement. Which statement? Sadeva Somedam Agrasit Ekameva Dvitiyam. This was that, like that. While standing in a jewelry shop, you can say that this all were there in the form of gold alone before. Right? You can say that. Same way, this entire creation, standing in the middle of the creation, somewhere, you can say entire creation was in the form of Sat right now. Then Mahavakya will tell that Sat is this. That is a different issue. But then Tattvamasi is there afterwards. But right now, let's keep it that way. So, the entire universe, including time and space, understand, was existent before the creation in the form of Sat. Ekam eva advitiyam. That's a very crucial thing. Ekam eva advitiyam. There is no second entity. There was no second entity before the creation. So no time, no space, nothing. But Swamiji, you said Maya must have been there, otherwise not. Yeah, Maya is there. But Maya means what? Maya means what? If you want to know the nature of Maya, you take name and form. Just take away existence from any name and form. Any name and form. Name also you should not say, but anyway, I will also repeat like this. Sometimes I repeat words which are meaningless. Name I should not say. Name is given by the human being. This particular form, let's say. Any form, if you take away existence, well, nothing remains, right? And therefore, basically, so entire creation, was, which is nothing but a name and form, and it was varieties of the names and forms. That was only Sat before the creation. That is the meaning of the word this. Idam means this, and this refers to this entire universe. And so now he is analyzing this creation was Sat. So now he starts in that entire mantra, Sadeva Somedam Agrasit Ekamiva Dvitiyam. In the entire mantra, he is picking up word Idam. Idam means this. This means this universe. Now he is analyzing first universe. And then he will say that was Sat alone. So first now he is taking up the word Idam, means universe. So he is analyzing universe from verse number 2 to verse number 29. The entire Vakya was analyzed between verse number 2 to verse number 46. In that also, word Idam of that mantra is analyzed between verse number 2 to verse number 29. So now, so he is analyzing it here, and these are these elements are there, and the gunas are also there of each element, and so they are experienced by us definitely by 5 sense organs. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Well, Shabda is experienced by Shrotrendriya, etc. Sparsha is experienced by, skin, etc. Rupa, etc. also through eyes. Rupa means a color, basically, not form. And Rasa will taste through the tongue, and Gandha basically through the nose. So, Ime Pancha Bhuta Gunaha, these are the 5 Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. These 5 gunas are picked up by 5 sense organs. And that's how it is. He says Vyomadishu Kramat. Kramat means respectively. Means Vyomadishu Kramat means Eka, Dvi, Tri, Chatuhu, Pancha, Gunaha. Vyomadishu Kramat. So these gunas are there in Vyoma. Vyoma means Akasha. Vyomadishu. In Vyoma means in Akasha, in Vayu, in etc. etc. These gunas are there. But how? So he says Eka, Dvi, Tri, Chatuhu, Pancha. So first 1 guna is in the Akasha, 2 gunas in, because that's the order, right? So 2 gunas in Vayu, 3 gunas in Agni, and 4 gunas in our jalam and 5 gunas in earth. So kramat, respectively. Vyomadishu, these gunas are existing. But what are they? So he wants to give the description. That is okay. 1 guna, 2 gunas. But what are the gunas? So now he, in the next verse number 3, he gives a description of these panchagunas. Pratidvani viyat shabdah vayau bhisiti shabdanam anushna shita samsparshah vannau bhugu bhugudvanihi. So, even though Akasha has Shabda as its property, but a pure all-pervading Shabda, well, is not audible. See, what is the criteria is, when you hear my sound, right, a Shabda, which I am uttering, said that is a limited. But actually, Akasha has a guna. Akasha has a property called Shabda. Akasha is all pervasive, then Shabda must be all pervasive. And therefore, what I utter just word, well, we will have to analyze what actually it is. It is very limited. That's not Shabda. Actually, Shabda Guna, well, which is also all pervading, which is not audible. If it is audible, you are all the time hearing, right? All pervading sound you hear, but you don't hear. So actually it is a avyakta, we call. That the shabda, the sound which is all pervading in the substantive called akasha, well, that is, we call it as a avyakta shabda, and that is, in the Sanskritam we call it anahata shabda. Anahata shabda means basically avyakta shabda, and it requires a special equipment to be heard. And that is how Rishis basically, and we call this anahata shabda as a omkara. And well, that is how Rishis also had to do a special tapasya to extract all Vedic mantras in the form of words from the akasha. So, which is avyaktam in akasha, the shabda which is avyaktam in akasha, which is all pervasive, well, to bring them into manifestation, you require to do some special sadhana. That's how Rishis were we calling as a mantra drishtaraha. So mantra drishtaraha means basically they were hearing all the Vedic mantras which were there in the akasha. Then if they were there, then we should be able to listen. No, it is avyakta. And the process is to bring that avyakta, unmanifest sound which is pervading into the akasha, to bring that into manifestation requires a special methods. I will give you example, don't worry. Swami, you are talking something esoteric. No, it is nothing esoteric. We can understand it. This is the thing. But today we are going to definitely demolish the certain concepts we have in our mind. This Pancadasi is doing that job. And this is the first thing which we are discussing, that demolishes certain idea about this shabda also. So only when the sound which is avyaktam manifest into when it becomes manifest, you are able to listen. That's all. So Rishis were doing what Rishis were actually bringing into manifestation all the mantras which are nothing but in the form of words. Well, they were bringing into manifestation through the special process, tapasya, etc. Or they were making their mind so refined by which it is able to pick up, it is able to bring into manifestation the avyakta shabda which was there in the akasha, which is all pervading. So, and to extract this vyakta shabda, to extract the vyakta shabda, or to bring the shabda into vyakta shabda, well, one has to employ a special method. In Tarka Shastra, they talk about 2 methods to make the sound manifest. And the first method is the method of a sanyoga. Like this is, right? These 2, hands are there, right? And sanyoga. Sanyoga means union, right? So it has brought into manifestation. Well, so this particular sound, Shabda, is there in the Akasha, but by union of two things, or by Sanyoga of two things, you bring to the manifestation that Shabda, that particular Shabda, which is there, which is as a Avyakta, which is there in the Akasha, you bring into manifestation. There is a one method. This is the first method, Sanyoga, of two things, union of two things. Second thing is a Viyoga of two things, separation of things. And that also you can understand very well. Well, I should not do that, but if you take a paper and you make it into parts, you tear the paper. So Viyoga, that is called Viyoga, means you separate two things. So basically, then definitely there also you find immediately a sound is manifested. So these are the two methods talked about in a Tarka Shastra, Sanyoga and Viyoga. There is a third method also, which Vidyaranya talks about here. A third method is, well, when you the space, which is all pervading, when you enclose it in any container, any enclosed space, will also manifest a sound. So when you enclose Akasha, there also you will find a sound, and Vidyaranya calls it as a pratidhvani, which we call in English as a echo, and that we have also experienced. When you enclosed Akasha, that in that container, whatever it may be a room or it may be something, then you find pratidhvani, basically echo of, and you shout something, you will find your own sound gets reflected. So the sound of Akasha, generally which is unmanifest, can be heard, because wherever the Akasha, the Guna must be there. Guna cannot be separate from the Guni, and therefore Akasha is all pervasive, and the Shabda remains here, cannot be. So the Guna also is all pervading, and Guna, that is Shabda is all pervading, means it is there. Oh, if it is there, then I should listen. No, it is Avyakta. And these are the three processes, which brings into manifestation that Avyakta Shabda brings into manifestation. And these are the three methods called Sanyoga, Viyoga, union of two things, separation of two things, or enclosing the space, which is all pervasive. That space, if you enclose, and then also this kind of a the sound gets manifested. So pratidhvani viyat shabda, Vidyaranya says, the sound of the Akasha, which is generally unmanifest, can be heard by us in the form of a echo, in the form of a talking. That is called talking. Talking means here there is an enclosed space. You can understand very well. Whatever I am talking is nothing but that enclosed space only, right? If I just keep open, then there is no enclosed space. Please understand this. If you keep open your mouth, then it is not enclosed, but it is one with the outside Akasha. But when you close, definitely all pervading Akasha you have enclosed, and then it will create a sound. So this is how it is. So here echo means, don't think in terms of just what we generally, our own sound gets reflected. It's not. The talking itself is a echo. So basically our talking, we feel that I am producing sound. No sir. By talking, I am bringing into manifestation the words which are unmanifest in the space. That's all. So I feel that I am producing so much of sound, etc., etc. But this is another Maya. Anyway, and the best example is given by the science. Very beautiful example. Whether science talks about what I talk, that I don't know. But science has explained a beautiful principle of manifestation. Like Vibgyor, you know very well. Vibgyor, all this white light has 7 colors. So, normally you don't see these 7 colors. Means that white light has 7 colors, but you don't see. Means what? All the 7 colors are unmanifest in this light. Then something brings into manifestation those 7 colors. What? Prism. Prism brings into manifestation all these 7 colors. We should not say prism produces 7 colors. Prism brings into manifestation the 7 colors present in the white light as unmanifest. If they are manifest, you will see all 7 colors with a naked eye. But you see just white light, means all the 7 colors are unmanifest there. It's a mixture. All are unmanifest in one light. And this will be there throughout. So you please understand this example. This will be there in other gunas also. This will remain like this. Only process of manifestation is there from unmanifest. That's what we want to convey. So, well, prism doesn't produce the colors. It manifests the 7 colors which are already there in unmanifest form in white light. Same way my talking does not produce the sound. It only manifests the sound which is already present in Akasha. So, through the ears, you can hear the manifest Shabda Guna of Akasha. That's how that there is a going on. In world, there are a lot of people who are trying to bring the into manifestation Lord Krishna's words which were told in the form of Bhagavad Gita, to the Arjuna. Because Lord Krishna manifested, he talked. He talked means what the words were there in the Akasha, those things basically he brought into manifestation. And therefore, this lot of people are trying for bringing into manifestation of the words which have already been spoken before. People are working. So that is an amazing thing. How will they do it? I don't know. But this is how people are trying actually. So this is about Akasha and its guna. Vayo visiti shabdanam. And well, now this is where let's talk about the Vayu now. So our Vidyaranya says Vayu has a Shabda because it has come from the Akasha, and therefore Karana Gunaha Karya Anuvartante. And therefore, since the Vayu is produced from the Akasha, basically the Guna of Akasha also will be there in Vayu. And that Shabda, well, which is there in the Vayu is what kind of a Shabda? BC. So that's BCT. And that you can hear. When there is a wind is blowing, so you are walking on the road and the wind is blowing, then you find that sound, right? And that is called BC. BCT Shabdanam. So when the wind is blowing, you can hear the motion of that sound called BC. And then Vayu has its own guna. Now, that's from Akasha. Vayu should have its own guna. Please understand. When I add guna, when I talk about new element, new guna, understand Maya is in picture. Maya is in picture. Maya is in picture. Maya is in picture. Please keep on doing that. Then by the time I am done with the creation, with the word idam, you will be thoroughly enjoying. Hush, the whole creation is mithya. Just names and forms, just appearance, etc. And there is nothing else other than that. Right? And so, Anushna Ashita Samsparshaha. This Vayu well by itself is neither hot nor cold. And if it is cold, you should understand there is a fact of there is a presence of a water in that, definitely. And therefore, or presence of a heat, that is from the fire. So, but Vayu itself basically Anushna. It is not hot, Ashita, not cold. And that we definitely experience through our skin. And this is Vayu's own guna. What is that? Sparsha. Akasha has one guna, that is Shabdaha. Vayu has a two guna, Shabdaha and Sparsha. Shabda is experienced by the ears and Sparsha is experienced by the skin. Then third. What is the third element? Vanni. Vannau bhugu bhugu dhanihi. He is describing gunas, I was telling you. It's a description of all gunas. Because the elements are created. And the gunas are also created from Sat. But then what are the gunas, etc. he is describing. Vannau bhugu bhugu dhanihi. In Gujarati also they have that. Well, whenever the fire burns, they say baga baga. Baga baga. So they call like that. bug. So basically it is called here bugu bugu. So especially not here, of course, even in your stove also you can find sometimes if the flame is too high, you will find you can hear the voice, or else in a big fire definitely you can hear that sound, bugu bugu. So when there is a huge fire, you can hear the movement of the fire, and Vidyaranya describes it like in form of bugu bugu. Let's go to verse number 4. Ushna sparshah prabha rupam jale bulubulu dhvanihi shita sparshah shukla rupam raso madhuryamiritaha. Ushna sparshah. Agni has definitely is hot naturally to touch. Prabha rupam, and because it's now he is talking about fire, and so there is a third element and the attributes of it, of course, and then prabha rupam, that is his guna. Prabha rupam is brightness or radiance, while is the color of a Agni tattva. So ushna sparshaha prabha rupam. So Agni has a three gunas. Two gunas borrowed from the Vayu, which is Shabda and Sparsha borrowed from the Vayu, because Vayu is the cause, and the attributes of the cause inheres into the effect, and therefore definitely, so Ushna Sparsha, fire has a touch, but that is hot. Prabha Rupam, and that Prabha Rupam means it has a radiance, a color, that is its own attribute. Now he talks about the fourth element, which has four gunas. And Jale Bulu Bulu Dhvanihi. What is the sound of water? Shabda. So all the three has come from it got inherited. All the three gunas are inherited from its cause. What is that? Shabda, Sparsha and Rupa. From the fire. It gets it. And its own guna is what? Definitely the taste. We'll see that. So Jale Bulu Bulu Dhvanihi, sound of water is Bulu Bulu. So this is how he described Bugu Bugu, and then BC, and then Bulu Bulu. So that you can hear that. When water is flowing, then you can hear this kind of a word, sound. So one property is over, that is Bulu Bulu Dhvani. So Shabda is there in water, that property, and that is Bulu Bulu. Then Shita Sparsha, touch of water is cold, of course. So that is Sparsha. Shukla Rupam, that's very amazing for me. I don't know how basically eyes pick up the color actually. Now in water there is no color. So we will have to Shukla Rupam. Shukla basically means white. But you know it's not white like this. Like this kind of a thing you don't find. So we say non-dark, non-bright, that kind of a color is there. So colorlessness as such of water, which is appreciable to the eye, which is amazing. Eyes pick up color. I cannot pick up colorlessness, but we have to understand, because eyes pick up water, and we are going to see actually Indriya does not pick up, any sense organ does not pick up sense object. Basically sense organ pick up the attribute of the sense object. We are going to see that actually. Vidyaranya is going to clarify all these things. But anyway, so basically this Shukla Rupam, which he has got it from the fire. So Rupam, Sparsha and Dhvani, Shabda. So anyway, so Shukla Rupam is, will say, let us say colorlessness. Now Rasaha Madhuryam Iritaha. And according to Shastra, same thing now you have to see, like Akasha. According to our Shastra, all forms of taste basically belong to water only. No object has any taste. It may be a sugar, or it may be your sweets, or it may be your bitter gourd. No object has any taste. Exactly like Shabda, we will have to see that here. So no object has a taste of its own itself. All possible tastes are already available in the water. Principle. Water principle, please understand. In terms of principle I am talking. Because why principle? Say just water. No. Because other forms of water are there. Saliva. And therefore definitely saliva is a form of water. And so I have to say water principle in general. Don't take as just a gross water. I mean this sthula jalam. So then why? But water does not have any taste. You say everything from the water. Same thing. Same thing. Like white light has all the colors, but in unmanifest form. Same with this color. I mean the tasteless water. It's not tasteless. Madhuryam is a special type of taste. So water has all the taste, like the white light has all the colors unmanifest. Same way water has all the taste unmanifest. That unmanifest taste mixed up together brings a taste of a water called madhuryam. The mixture of all taste is called madhuryam. So when you taste something, you describe the nature of the taste. Like when you say sugar is sweet, salt is, etc. But according to Shastra, the taste does not belong to object. When you put an object in the mouth, basically it comes in contact with the saliva, which is mainly a water principle, which has all possible taste in it, and the object manifests a particular taste in the water. So object becomes a nimitta to bring out a particular taste from the water. Like prism becomes a nimitta to bring out all the 7 colors. Prism becomes a cause to manifest all the 7 colors in the light. Same way a particular object helps us to bring into manifestation a particular taste which belongs to the water, which is there in the water as unmanifest. Anyway, and this can be very well understood very beautifully if the scientist explain the color of an object. Any color of an object, let's take my right now my this cloth, my jibba. It has an orange color, right? This cloth appears orange. Now basically this orange color does not belong to the cloth. It does not belong to cloth. It belongs to the light which is shining on it. The light falls on it. And when the light falls on the cloth, it is reflected. When it is reflected, that reflected light is picked up by the eyes. What happens is from the light, all the 7 colors are there. Basically, certain colors are absorbed by the chemical of this cloth. And what cannot be absorbed will be reflected. So out of 7 colors, all other colors except the orange color will be absorbed by this particular cloth. Cloth means here some dye. That dye absorbs. That chemical absorbs that out of 7 colors. It absorbs all colors except that orange color. And therefore, other colors which are absorbed you won't be see. You won't be able to see. Only orange color which is reflected, cannot be absorbed by the dye of the cloth, will be seen by you. And you say, this cloth is orange. This is how it is. Really, no object has no color. Really. This is amazing. But therefore, and that's how in darkness, when there is everything is dark here, and there are varieties of objects in the room, you are not able to see any color. So basically, when the light falls on it, you are able to see. And that reflected light brings into a manifestation of a particular color. The color which is manifested through the cloth, well, definitely you are able to see. Other colors are absorbed, which was there in the light as a unmanifest, and they are absorbed also by the cloth, by the dye. And a particular color is as though manifested by the cloth or the dye, that you are able to see. So the orange cloth is nothing but, the cloth has worked as a medium to manifest a particular color which is there in the light as unmanifest. That is how the thing is. Same way, according to the Shastra, the sweetness, well, definitely does not belong to the sugar. All the other possible taste, are not manifested by the sugar except the sweetness. Except orange color, all are not able to manifest because they are absorbed. Same way, well, the sugar crystal, when you put on the mouth and when it comes in contact with the saliva, which is water principle, and from the water, in the water principle, all the tastes are there. Sugar brings into manifestation only sweetness part, sweet taste, which is there in the sugar, which is there in the water, and other taste it is not able to manifest. Some other object, some other taste will manifest, bring into manifestation. And well, so this is how a white object, and that is how you see certain, this is white, means what? White light falls on it and it is reflected as a white, means what? Means it brings into it cannot absorb any color. If it absorbs some color, then the color which is not absorbed will be manifested and you will be able to see. But white light falls on this object and it reflected as a white, means nothing is absorbed. Nothing is absorbed. And then black object, everything is absorbed. Everything is absorbed. Even black hole absorbs everything. Black hole absorbs, that's how they call. Black hole absorbs even the sunlight totally. Amazing, what an amount of gravity it must be, that light is absorbed. The gravitation is so much that it pulls the even light totally. Nothing gets reflected. So anyway, so the black object definitely absorbs all the color, so appears black. White object means definitely whatever the dye may be, whatever the chemical it may be, but it doesn't absorb any color, and therefore all are manifested. Means basically white is manifested as white only. Out of 7, some are absorbed, then the rest is manifest. Then you will see varieties of the colors. So this is how it is. So anyway, so these are the gunas which we talked about. Now let's go ahead. Bhumau kadakada shabdah kaఠిన్యం sparshamishyate neeladikam chitra rupam madhuramladiko rasah. So in the last 3 verses, Vidyaranya described this first 4 of the Panchamahabhutas, the gunas also of the Panchamahabhutas. Now he talks about earth and its property, the 5th element which is left over, and that is, earth. So there it says Bhumau. Bhumau means on this earth. Kada kada shabdah asti. That's the first property. Shabda. It starts with shabda. Shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha. Right? Because and the 4 properties are inherited from the water. That's the cause of this earth. So shabda, sparsha, rupa and rasa are borrowed. It has come down from the karana. And it has its own property called gandha, prithvi. This is all we have seen actually. So only a certain part we are seeing, that we are making it clarify. We are bringing to manifestation certain thing. So bhumau kadakada shabdah, the prithvi has the property of a sound. Here you have to consider even sukshma prithvi also. And it is evident as what? That sound is evident in that kadakada shabda. Kadakada, which you hear in the mountains or anywhere. Or even you hear when tree falls. A tree in between it, when it breaks in between from the trunk, then you find this kind of a sound, kada. So so bulu bulu, bugu bugu and kada. And vayu means busy. Anyway, so this is just enjoying. We are learning and we are enjoying too. So kada sound means we hear in these mountains everywhere where there is a movement of earth. Maybe even in the earthquake also, when a certain a crack happens in the earthquake, you will find this kind of a sound. So this is first property, shabda. What kind of a shabda? Kada. Second, kaఠిన్యం, sparsha, kaఠిన్యం. Earth is basically hard. Kaఠిన్యం is kathinata. Kathinata means hard to touch. So earth is hard to touch, unlike the water, right, which is soft. Then neeladikam chitra rupam. Actually, neela means basically, blue, but here we should not take it that way. We call this gaganam as a neela gaganam. Gaganam means akasha is blue, right? We call it as a neel. Gaganam means akasha and neela means blue. The sky is blue. But here we cannot take it that way because earth is not blue. So we'll have to take it a different meaning. I mean, Neelam means basically dark. So earth has got basically varieties of the colors. Here also same thing. Earth borrows property of the color from the Agni, borrows property of taste from the water, and when then earth borrows the property of basically of the color from the Agni and manifest that color into varieties, I mean blue, green and whatnot. And so basically varieties of the color is manifested by the earth is due to this infinite process of basically possible combination of these basic colors which is borrowed from Agni Tattva. Basically you see what happens is you may see 3 or 4 colors basically of the earth, like a red you might have seen, and black or light brown, etc. All these kind of colors. You might not have seen this blue, etc. But what comes out of the earth, which is nothing but a modification of earth, has all colors. All colors. You see the vegetables, you see the plant kingdom. All which has come out of the earth has a varieties of colors. That shows all these colors were there in earth. And these colors, definitely the property of color itself is borrowed from the Agni. And therefore, this is how we call this Neeladikam. Neela, etc. The dark color and other colors. Adikam. Adi means etc. etc. Whatever the colors you see in the plant kingdom, etc. It's all due to this, and even other things also. All these, varieties of the jewels, and you find that which is coming out of the earth. There also you find varieties of the colors, varieties of the stones, precious stones and everything. That also has, because it is all modification of earth basically. So all this modification of earth especially reveals all types of colors. So it's thousands of combinations, and that's how you will find pink color. Pink rose and all, and little dark pink color and whatnot, rose. Several colors are there. So it's all because of infinite possible combinations of the basic colors, which is borrowed from the Agni Tattva. And that mixed colors, which is called Chitra Rupam. Chitram is a variegated. That's all. Chitram is equal to Vichitram, is equal to variegated. So all variegated colors which you find in the modifications of the earth or in earth, whatever. What is coming out of the earth, what you find in the earth, whatever. Ultimately, which is nothing but a modification of earth, you find all these colors. So Neeladikam Chitra Rupam, variegated colors. Madhuramladiko Rasaha, again, the earth manifests all rasas, Shad Rasa basically. That sweet, sour, etc., saltish, bitter, etc., etc. All these tastes are basically manifested by the products of earth, or that is earth, and they are borrowed from actually water only, because that's a property of water. And since water is a cause for the earth basically, Karanam, and therefore water has all the things, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa and Rasa. All these are also have been inherited in the earth, and that gets manifested into varieties of the Rasa also. And that is Madhuramladikam. We have to just keep this thing example in our mind. Just as white light basically manifests into varieties of the colors, same way all these different kind of taste are manifested from the different products of earth. That is earth. And then other things are there. Gandha, etc. That is its own property. And the Indriyas which pick up these gunas, that we will see. What we are discussing is, please understand, idam. Idam. What is that idam? That idam which is there in the mantra. Idam means this. This means this universe, which was nothing but the Sat alone. That universe is being described right now. The idam word is being elaborated up to verse number 29. This universe has been, he will describe the entire universe which has been shown by one, which has been described in one word called idam in the Chandogya, in that mantra, that is under the discussion. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.